ITP graduate program at NYU where we teach a class in collaboration with the UNICEF Innovations Lab. So I'm going to talk about microcontrollers. I'm holding one in my hand. Microcontrollers are basically a very small computer embedded on a single chip. The one that I'm holding is called the Arduino. It's cheap, it's open source, and it's really easy to use. Over the last 5 years, there's been a lot of work that's been done in terms of creating a lot of different kinds of open source libraries. And one of the most important things that's developed is a community of makers. The picture on top is a hackerspace. There are hundreds of them developing around the world. The picture on the bottom is our graduate department. There's no difference between the two. They use the same tools. What this allows you to do is take an obsessive idea that you want to make. This is the Pixar lamp that was actually made by a friend of mine. You take an obsessive idea and you actually get it done. And this is done mainly because there's an enormous amount of community that uses these tools. These are cables. What I want you to think about whenever you connect a device is that USB in Jordan is the same as USB in France. When you can reduce data down to machine language, you can actually make it happen globally. That was a picture of an embedded radio. This is a radio that you know. Embedded radios tend to work on the same part of the spectrum that Wi-Fi works. They're very common. These are two cell phones. That one you know, that one you don't know. That one doesn't actually have a screen, but it speaks machine language. So they can do the exact same thing. You can use that one with Frontline Rapid SMS. You can also use that one. This is what we think when we think of a human user, or when we think of who uses cell phones. But I want everybody to start thinking about what happens when you can reduce the user of a cell phone to a machine. This is what you can do. You can start, there's a huge industry called telematics where they mainly use cell phones attached to microcontrollers to track enormous amounts of fleets and logistics. That's a very common use. This is what I want you to take away from this, that machines are predictable, they're stubborn, and they're replaceable. When you can reduce the data that you're gathering in any of the work that you're doing to data that machines can gather, you can take advantage of these things. So this is an example, right? You need to send this string. If you ask for a human to do it on a very regular basis, 100 times over the course of 2 days, you're bound to get a mistake. But when you ask a machine to do the exact same thing, you're going to get a reliable data stream. This is what a demo looks like. Cell phone on the left, microcontroller on the right. I also want everybody to start thinking of cell phones as highly engineered, reusable items. We replace our cell phones so often that they can be easily reused. This is a project that I did that uses this technology basically to create an ad hoc wireless fire detection system. This is a project that I'm working on right now that came out of the class with the Innovations Lab that detects water, that monitors water quality and transmits that data over cellular networks. So once again, these are things that you can actually just use machines instead of people to gather the data. Also, when you reduce that stuff down to the machine level, you can create kits that 15-year-olds can create. It's a burgeoning field of just making those kits. This is a project that some friends of mine are working on, where the cell phone connects to the charge controller of solar panels and transmits data when something's wrong with it so that it creates a more efficient network of technicians that travel around different places. Huge. It saves tons of money. And all it takes is pretty much a cell phone and a microcontroller. This is a water treatment plant in Carter that was done in collaboration between USA, the Coca-Cola Foundation, and UNICEF. When I got there, they explained to me that it worked really well for a while and then it broke down. This is the control panel of that treatment panel. Whenever you see a control panel that looks like this, always realize that you can hook up a cell phone and a microcontroller to it, and you can take advantage of that and always know when it's time to fix it or what's wrong with it at a higher granularity. When you get the data, there's a bunch of different projects. This one's called PatchBay, where they overlay the data on top of maps, and you can see the sensor values in real time. There's also there's a project out of UCLA as well. This image, there's something wrong with it. And what's wrong with it is that all the dots are in 2 or 3 different places. We need to change that over the course of the next few years. Thank you.